It's, a few of my bluebell trees and marmee. I've grown most of these marmee myself, and a few more of the sort of medium to larger size bluebell trees and a couple of tamarinds. And in fact, let me show you the others there. It's this little lady that we'll be working on today, just to give her a bit of a haircut, to give her some shape. And then after that, there's my wife's favourite tree, a Vietnamese bluebell tree, which is a bit overgrown, and she just needs her clouds redefined, and she'll be next on the haircut list. And here she is. I rescued her from a hedge. She was part of a hedge of about 100 of these about, I think, 4 years ago. And I think she's maybe about 10, 11, 12 years old. And because the hedge was a low one outside the front of a garden of a house, she was kept quite low, so effectively a bonsai. She's not perfect. Over the last few years, I've sort of managed to get a really nice shape out of her. I think she's very cute. But like I say, she's not perfect. This branch here crosses over the main branch. I could bring it up because tamarinds are very flexible, but I don't know. I'm happy with her like that. You know, she's not going in any shows, so you know, if she's beautiful in my eyes, which she is, then I'm happy with her. We've had rain really every day for the last 3 weeks or something. Torrential downpours for a couple of hours every evening, to the point where I've had to sort of protect the trees that are out in the open a bit. But despite that, obviously the soil, a lot of the goodness gets leached out when the rain's that heavy and that regular. So I've been feeding them up, and the last few days we've had some beautiful sunshine, and they've all gone a bit berserk, as you can tell by the lighter green you'll see on this little cutie. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to prune it back a little bit and take off branches that are growing in towards the central of the tree, which you don't want, and trim out some of the leaves that are maybe a bit too thick at the moment. The idea, of course, is to get constant back budding from halfway down to the end of the branch, so that you can then form your cloud. And tamarinds are really popular in Thailand because they grow everywhere. I love them for marmee. I've got a couple here to show you. And they're incredibly flexible, particularly when they're young. I don't know if you can make out that little beauty. I grew her from a seed from a friend's tamarind tree, a big tamarind tree. And this particular style is well liked over here. The leaves are closing up. It's 5 p.m, around 5 p.m. here at the moment, and about 31 degrees, so quite balmy. Here's another one, which is a bit weird. Yeah, I know, it was just an idea I got, so I did it, and I think it's cute. But yeah, tamarinds are very popular for bonsai in Thailand. And their flexibility makes them easy to shape. Even, you know, the bigger trees, to a point you can really do some good work on them. So let me start instead of waffling on. Scissors. Yeah, you can spend a fortune on amazing scissors, Japanese handcrafted scissors, specifically for bonsais and things like that. But they're damn expensive, you know. I just buy cute, this one's in the shape of a bird, cute scissors that do the job just as well. Nail scissors I've got with very pointy points, and there's a bit of fun, some titanium titanium scissors, and nail clippers. There's a branch clipper. You know, there's no real need to go overboard on bonsai tools. Something that I did find quite useful, or still do find quite useful, this magnifying glass with little LED lights on it. If you've got any problem with infestation, or you think you might have, you can, you know, get it really, really close and make out incredible detail to find out whether it's a bug or mold or whatever. Handy little thing, and not too expensive. Right, so what I'm looking for are branches that are not going to be useful in the future, branches that are growing backwards, inwards towards the tree, and any branches that are growing directly up or thickening out the branch in a negative way. This being one example that I've got to look at. But you've got to think for the future too. I've got a little branch growing out here, but this is, well, it's actually got two fronts. Technically this is not a good front because this main branch crosses, this secondary branch crosses over the main branch. But when it's the other way around, it starts to look quite nice, even with this crossing branch. So I'm quite happy to leave this as she is for the time being anyway. And you can see there, this is a good example. This is something that we don't need, that you could probably pull off, but I tend to cut mine. Branches up here, see there's one out here. This might be useful later on to thicken out a pad here, although we already do have some thickness going on here that we can play with. So I think we'll take this one out as well. And we've got one growing directly upwards here. Could bend it forward, but it's so thin compared to the rest of the branches that it wouldn't make sense. So you've got to keep that in mind too. Otherwise, the back budding, you'll have new branches growing out everywhere, you know, and sometimes you've got to make decisions. This one, you can see it's growing directly upwards. We don't want that. And by cutting these that you don't want off, you're encouraging more back budding, more new leaves, new growth that hopefully will be in a better position for you to play with and use. I'll keep this one, it's a little one for the moment because it could be useful in the future, but I'll just trim off those leaves that are growing inwards. Same with this here. Anything that's growing inwards. It's a new one there that we don't need. I'll take some of these off. You know, tamarinds, again, we're so spoilt out here, you know, with the weather. The climate is just perfect for things. I can take cuttings of trees and literally just stick them in the ground and they'll be growing roots. It's how I've grown a lot of my mame as cuttings, particularly from cherry trees. The Chinese cherry tree, I just take a reasonably thick cutting, a quarter of an inch, something, angle it off, stick it in some Red Bull, which is something that's used as a root developer here, and it seems to work. And stick it in the soil and bang, roots. So we're spoilt rotten. And tamarinds literally are to a penny. You can get the fruits from trees and wash the fruit off and plant the seed, and you know, it's just so easy, and they grow quite quickly too, so you can have a lot of fun with them, which is why they're very popular here. I'm not concentrating enough really with me yakking on, but we shall continue. Yeah, you can see this one's growing up. I mean, we're going to bring it down eventually, and we want this to branch out. So I'm going to cut this off to encourage some back budding. But I'm also going to cut off these leaves that are very close to the main branch, again to encourage back budding. And thickening up this little part, which will become a part of this cloud here. And by constantly cutting back these leaves that you don't want, you're encouraging new growth, and more often than not, the leaves that come out are smaller. And over a matter of time, this is how you get well, one of the ways you can get your leaves to get smaller and smaller and smaller. But you've got to be careful. You can't take too much for granted. The leaves are pretty amazing. The chlorophyll in them converts light, sunlight or LED light, whatever, into energy. And that energy is stored. There are two particular molecules within most plants where that energy is stored. And that energy is then used to use carbon dioxide and water as a kind of, well, it's not kind of, it is a glucose, which is where the tree gets the energy from, and the water from the roots, and obviously nutrients from the roots as well. But leaves are incredibly important, and there is a technique called defoliation where you literally cut off every single leaf of the tree, and that encourages lots of new growth, obviously, and smaller leaves over time if you keep on cutting them back. But you can imagine the shock is pretty intense to the tree, so your tree has to be in very good condition if you're thinking about total, did I say exfoliation or defoliation? Exfoliation skin, defoliation, cutting off the leaves. But this kind of trim is literally just to keep the shape and keep an eye on things over the next year or two and see which branches I want to keep and which ones I want to cut back. This is quite a nice branch, but it's too long. Anything that I'm cutting at this end now is going to grow out here, and really I want it closer in here. So I'm going to cut this back to about this, and then hopefully we'll get some growth from here, and it'll start to create the pad there. And it's quite logical, really, when you think about it, isn't it? I never cut roots and leaf together. I just get worried that the shock is too much. And if you are going to trim roots for a new pot, there you can see this will be brought up eventually to be a part of this cloud, and this will be brought down ever so slightly. This will too, so we'll have a nice, well-defined cloud of hopefully over the years smaller leaves. Although these leaves are getting smaller over the last couple of years, but just keep on going. So there we go. Right, new ones here. I need to be a bit more ruthless, don't I? All right, we're going. If you can't be ruthless, you shouldn't have a bonsai. Somebody said that once. It doesn't really make sense, does it? You don't want to be too ruthless. I've, like most bonsai owners, I suppose, I've been there wiring up a nice, beautiful branch, and you've got the perfect positioning for it, and you want to bend it into shape, and you almost get it there, and you just need that little bit more, and oh shit. And the branch is broken. I often, to be honest, what I do is I'll push it back into place and then get some more wire and reinforce it and then put some tape around it. Yeah, I've rescued a few that way, but it's a horrible sound. A horrible sound. Right, what I'm going to do is just clear away some of this right in the middle of the fingers. You know, we've got new leaves coming out or growing backwards. Oops. There we go. So you like this one? I don't know if you can see that one there. You know, no use. Sorry, baby. We've got one growing out here, and I've left it before because it's been there a while. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick. So I must have had a reason, and to me the reason is now obvious in that it can form part of this cloud here when it thickens up a little bit and we get some growth. So yes, good decision, me. This is a bit too long, you can see, although it doesn't matter. I'm going to leave that one. We might get some back budding there, but we might not, so I don't want to kill that. This I want to take back a little bit. And this one off. That I'm going to leave, just see what happens. This is coming out well, yeah. I'll let you get a bit thicker. Give you another few months. You're growing out there. And I bring you around here? No, but I can bring you around here. So again, see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 branches here that are perfect for, in the future, a nice defined cloud. So we bring them together all on a similar level, but you never want to be too perfect. You know, you always want to have the little kinks in the branches, you know, and give the branches some movement when you wire them. A lot of these need wiring, and that'll happen over time. I'm just at the moment developing the main shape where I want the clouds and see if it's viable. Then if it is, then I can get to work on wiring things and putting everything in the right place. There we go. This one's growing out a little bit too much out here, so I'm going to cut this back and cut off that back leaf, and we can start to see a little bit more of the main trunk, which is what we want to do. It still needs a bit of tidying up. I've got some flat branches that I've chopped off in the past that I need to tidy up, and there's this thing down here, because she was underground basically. We got this massive root. I'm not quite sure what to do with it. I don't know if I'm brave enough yet to cut it off and blend it in, or whether I'll just leave it and find a rock to go underneath it and make, you know, as the architects say, if you can't hide it, make a feature of it. So I'll find a nice rock to go under there. Yeah, I'll leave that one for now. And at the top, she's got lots of good new growth at the top. She was missing a head really, but this is coming out well as long as I keep her cut back. So we get some smaller and new growth here, and see where that goes. This one. So the more we can see of the trunk, in essence, that our brain interprets it as age. You know, in old trees, you tend to see a lot of the trunks and main branches and things, and that's what we're used to seeing. And if you can't, you know, you can still get some beautiful bonsais that are not where you can't see the inside at all. Canopy type bonsais and things. And in some ways it becomes more topiary than bonsai, but it doesn't matter as long as you end up with a tree that you really like. You know, it's your tree and you're creating something that's really special, that's unique, and to be a part of that makes the whole thing special and worth spending time on. And I said it before in the last video with the Vietnamese bluebell trees. Out here we're so lucky, yes, granted, but this medium, which is, it's maybe a 30% soil mix with gravel and all kinds of stuff in there, akadama and things, it drains very easily. which means that it doesn't hold nutrients a lot. So that, you know, she gets fed once every 3 weeks, 4 weeks. What was I going to say? Damn. Oh yes, but you don't let it dry out. You try not to let it stand in water too long either. This rain that we've had, you know, every day in the afternoon, it really has soddened the soil, the mediums, and at the very least it's leached out a lot of food, but it also means that the soil has been very wet for a few days, which is when I decided to protect it, or protect them a little bit, you know, give the soil some time to dry out, because the temperature is still in the late 20s, you know, 29, 30, 31, as it is now. But you don't let the soil dry out, because it'll dry out the roots and kill them. And you don't leave the roots standing in saturated medium soil for too long. A day, 2 days. But even then, why? If your medium is a good medium, it should drain by itself anyway, unless you have the constant rains like we had, in which case you might need to protect it a little bit. But because we had all that rain, and then with the feed, and now we got beautiful sunshine, they're growing like crazy, which is nice to see. Anyway, enough of that waffle. Right, let me concentrate a little bit more. I want to cut this one back. Hello, Cookie. This is Cookie Monster, our best little boy. He's a good boy, isn't he? Eh? The best company, and very protective of our grandson that lives here with us. See, here's another one. There you can see this looks a bit hodgepodge at the moment, this one. But if I clear up what's on the bottom, so you can see, get rid of that one for a moment, there's a potential here for a nice little cloud here, little step, you know. This one could be wired down easily, so we've got potential for a nice cloud there. And I'll leave this one growing for now, because we could hide it and it would help thicken out that cloud. This one is growing directly down, we don't want that. And I can't twist it out the way by twisting the main branch, because it's already in line. Cutting off this back one. I'm just going to trim the growth end. Yeah, this one we need to bring back in a little bit, because they're splitting too far out. We need them to split closer in. See, this one's a good example. It's a nice thick branch. It's a year or so old, but it's just too long. It's just too long. We've got some growth. I don't know whether you can see that. We've got some growth back here, so I'm just going to concentrate on them, and I'm going to cut this one back to there. And this little lady can easily be brought down to make a small cloud there. This is one we don't need. So, yeah, this one's going backwards, don't need this. That comes out. And that's up there. These are growing backwards. That one already growing out of a branch I cut that I need to tidy up. And the rest of that can be left for now. Although that one is still a bit long. Oops, sorry. There we go. Yes, I apologize. If I give a bad cut, it's like I hurt it. Hey, what can I say? Now we do have one growing up at an angle here, 45 degrees, but the good thing about tamarinds is, if I get rid of that one, you can easily twist it over so that then you've got a nice little cloud on the end. We don't need you there though. Cut you off. You will keep for now, because we might be able to cheat and use you to thicken that cloud up. This one cut. That one can easily be brought down. And I think, to be honest, as far as the haircut goes, we are not far off. A bit long. Just looking to see if I've missed any branches that are growing backwards or anything. You see there, it's a lot cleaner, and we'll get, because of the climate at the moment and the feeding and everything, we're going to get a lot more. I'll cut you right back, I think. A lot more new growth. Hopefully with slightly smaller leaves. Keep on top of it so that the leaves never swallow the tree up. And as you can see, you can see quite a bit of that front now. Tamarinds. Lovely trees to play with bonsai. We live on a small soy, like a rough road, and our landlady lives opposite, and the whole front of her front garden is just tamarind trees, about 30 inches high, that have been there for years and years, and you could you could dig them up, stick them in a pot, and it's like, whoa, 5 minutes work, and you've already got, the beginnings of a bonsai. And because they grow so easily and so well out here, it's fantastic to watch them develop over the years. She's gone from a wild shrub, into, as far as I'm concerned, quite a passable bonsai. I think she's very pretty. I like her. I've got a little bit of tidying up to do, but that'll come. No hurry. And there she is. Hope you enjoyed that. The next one will be the big Vietnamese bluebell tree, my wife's tree there, which is in desperate need of a haircut. Hope you enjoyed that. See you in the next one.